So now that you've interrogated us, Sander, how about you tell us a bit about yourself?
Um, yeah. So, I don't know really where to start.
So why don't you tell us what you're, why are you in the UK right now? What's your whole groove?
I'm in the UK because, uh, I was living a very simple life back in the US, and I didn't really feel like I was going anywhere. It was comfortable. It was fine. I was very very poor. Uh, but and happy. Uh, but I felt like there was just something a little bit missing. I wanted to experience something new and learn, and so I just decided to uh, apply to study philosophy here in London.
Whereabouts in London do you study?
I'm studying a master's at Birkbeck University of London.
Why did you want to study philosophy?
It's a big question. Mostly I think just because I have a lot of questions. Uh, I like to just think about very strange things.
What do you mean
Uh,
by strange?
Strange? I don't know. Like, is what we experience what is really real about the world, and how do we know? Um, what's the meaning of life? Uh, Sort of a lot of those very existential questions, like what does it mean to be truly human, that kind of stuff. And I was thinking a lot about that sort of thing when I was working at a farm. That's what I was doing right before here, because working in a space like that, that's just wide open, and you're doing a lot of hard work, uh, and but the pace is relatively slow, so it gives you a lot of time to think. And a lot of the time, I was by myself with animals, seeing their life start and end.
Do you think that so first, were you always living in the country?
For the most part, yeah, this is the longest I've ever lived in a city before.
Really?
Yeah, longest I've ever. Well, yeah. Second longest I spent about a month and a half in Oakland, California, and other than that, no, I've never lived in a city before.
What do you think of the city then? What do you think
Uh,
of London actually?
Yeah, because London in itself is a
London
country,
is
really.
London is giant. There's everything is so convenient and inconvenient at the same time. Um, I like it. I like the culture. I like how busy everything is. And I love how much access you have to things and people from all over the world.
What would you say you don't like about it though?
Rains too much.
Yeah.
Rains too much.
Well, welcome to Britain, baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was expecting that. It's not something I wasn't really. Uh, I don't know. Uh, yeah, I can't really say anything that I dislike about London per se.
That's interesting because since you've lived in a country your whole life,
Yeah,
you'd expect,
I mean,
some.
I wish they were like uh easier access to a more rural seeming space, but that's very difficult when you're right smack in the middle of a bunch of concrete. So
Yeah.
sometimes it feels a little claustrophobic.
When exactly do you feel claustrophobic? Is it on your way to in the tube, let's say,
Oh,
or?
it's definitely on the tube. I feel very claustrophobic then, especially when you're crowded in there like a bunch of sardines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's sweaty, and nobody thinks to open up those windows on the in the back and the front of the cars. Yeah. No, but I like it. I like it.
Do you think that had you been exposed to the city life a bit more, because this lifestyle is so different.
It's very different.
Everything is buzzing. It's everything is okay. Deadline now. Deadline
Everything's
this.
fast paced. Yeah.
Fast. And while in the country, you have a bit more time to reflect. You have a bit more time
Right.
to yourself. Do you think that if you had lived in a city or an urban area for most of your life, would you have actually taken up philosophy in the end? You know, because you were saying that you spent a lot of time reflecting and actually thinking about things. Or do you think that you would have continued to have done philosophy regardless?
That's a good question. I have no idea because the environment that I grew up in and the people that shaped that environment and shaped me, I think deeply influenced the way that I approach life and the world around me. So it's very hard for me to take all of that away and think about a what if, because I don't know how that kind of experience is structured. I think deep down I am just interested in philosophical questions. I'm interested in thinking about the things that most people go about their days trying not to think about. And I don't know. I mean, maybe if I was in a city, I would try to avoid a lot of those things, but I'm not really certain. Also, my experience of a city was New York City, primarily.
Wow.
So I would go from like fucking nowhere, like the boonies, and then drive into the city, and it would be sensory overload to the max, and it would not stop. It just New York City just doesn't stop ever. Nothing ever closes. Like it doesn't stop.
Never sleeps.
Never.
It never
It's the city
sleeps.
that never
Wow.
sleeps. It's
Yeah.
very true. And it's so crowded everywhere that you go, even just walking. And here in London, you can find places where there's almost nobody, and most of the shops close at 11.
That
That
annoys
is
me.
very strange to me. Even the shops in my own town, which is quite small, are open past 11:30.
What's your town called?
Hudson, New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it so it's close to New York City or?
It's about a 2.5 hour drive north. It's right along the Hudson River.
Oh wow.
So you could probably take a boat there too.
Oh wow. Have you taken a boat?
No.
Oh okay. I was gonna ask
Yeah.
if you recommended it or something. 'Cause it
No.
sounded nice.
I don't really like to get too close to the Hudson River. It's one of the largest toxic waste sites in the country.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we'll be sure to stay away.
Hey, people back in the 70s though, they used to go fishing in it. Everyone was swimming. Like it was a
Jesus.
hotbed of,